Give us a second. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for tonight's Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is April 2nd, 2018. We'll call this meeting in order at 7:30. Can we take the roll, please?
Sure. Trustee McGreal? Here. Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Pierce is absent. Trustee Zielinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez is also absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start tonight's meeting, I'd just like to ask everyone on the board and the public, please keep in your thoughts and your prayers. We had a few people pass away that were acquaintances to many in the community here this past week or so. Unfortunately, our former police chief, Ken Wood, passed away. Same day I'm coming home from Ken's wake last Sunday. My neighbor across the street, Mike Maher, passed away. If any of you know Mike, he's at 119th and Laverne. Very nice man. I've known him for over 20 years. And today I paid our respects on behalf of the village to the family of the pastor, Chris Ongstead is his name. Chris is the pastor at Holy Cross Lutheran Church at 120th Street. Very nice man. He was in here about 6 months ago, and really an asset to this community. They've done quite a bit with food pantries and whatnot, so please keep their families in your prayers. Also, a second thing I wanted to bring to everybody's attention was I was informed today that myself and the board are invited to join in the festivities for opening day for the Alsip Little League coming up Saturday. This will be April 21st at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that parade kicks off at Prairie Junior High. So if everybody's interested or if you're available, please join us at Prairie Junior High at 10 o'clock Saturday, April 21st. What else did I do? Oh, update. I'm going to say this is back March 5th, I believe, was the meeting that we had. I had a couple of contractors, or a contractor come in talking about building 9 homes. At the time, the board rejected helping out with some engineering fees for the 9 homes. I did reach out to some of the school boards. They're in the same predicament. They are not or cannot commit to helping them with engineering fees. It was about $75,000 to build, to cover the engineering fees to build 9 homes at 120th and Hamlin. So at this time, I will, as I spoke with them again on Friday, the schools, and I'm going to get back with the builder tomorrow. I had a full day today in and out of the office, but I'll let him know that we're not able to help him with those costs, and hopefully he still moves forward with that project to build 9 1,700 square foot homes at 120th and Hamlin. On your agendas this evening, the first order of business on my report was a request for approval to contract with Restore Construction to demolish an uninhabitable home and garage, and actually it's got a built-in pool that's coming out too, at 3725 West 120th Place. Unfortunately, this home has been vacant for probably the last 5 years. It's in terrible condition. It's irreparable, and certainly it's going to be a hazard to the community over there. This is at a cost of approximately $22,700. This would be paid by the village with a reimbursement by sale of said property, meaning that within 30 days after demolition, our attorney Gary Perlman with Lewis Kankar Limited had said he can go back to court, get us the deed to that property, and this way when we sell the property off to potential developer, we're going to recoup all of our monies for legal and so forth, and the demolition on this then too. Also, what I had on here was a demolition of the inoperable car wash that everybody's been stuck with. We've been, unfortunately, been looking at for the last few years at 106 17th and Pulaski. The village owns that car wash, and that can be demolished for $31,750, and that can be paid for through the Pulaski Avenue TIF. I did get 3 quotes, and I put those in all the trustees' mailboxes as well as an email, too, so you can refer back to those if you wish. As far as costs were concerned, the highest of these, I don't have them totally surmised here, but the highest price was approximately $60,000, middle price was $56,000, and the price that, when you combine these two numbers in front of here, was about $54,000. So it was a good price to do this work, and certainly, I would have brought this up last week at committee. We didn't have a committee meeting, so I'm trying to keep this moving forward, because we still have to apply for county permits in order to do demolition work on this then, too. Second item on your agenda is the request for approval of Commissioner Chuck Rolfson to be appointed as a vice chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission per Article 2, Section 2.1 of the mayor, and just as a reminder how it's written, the mayor shall designate a chairman and a vice chairman with the consent of the Board of Trustees. And again, Chairman Stan Graycheck submitted this recommendation to the mayor's office. That's all I have. Clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. First, I just wanted to update everybody for the early voting totals that we had here at Village Hall. There were a total of 1,180 people that did participate, and the largest day was Monday, the 19th, at 203 voters. There will be early voting for the gubernatorial election that is in November. The regular election is held on November 6th. Early voting will be from October 22nd to November 5th. Under the clerk's report, we have request for approval of minutes of the March 5th, 2018 board meeting and request for the approval of the minutes of the March 19th, 2018 board meeting. And just as a side note, as Mayor Ryan had mentioned that we did not have a committee meeting last week, there were just a couple of items that had been submitted to be on that agenda. If the trustees could work diligently with their department heads and try to get us all the information, preferably by 11 this Thursday. I realize that's a little bit earlier than normal, but we want to try to incorporate everything that would have been on last week's. We would appreciate it, and then that'll go out late in the day, early evening Thursday. Please watch your emails so that we can make sure we don't have anything get delayed and fall through the cracks, so we can get it on the agenda for sure when it goes out on Friday. Thank you, Mayor Ryan. That's all.
Sure. Thank you. Attorney's report, we have Joe Kenker with us tonight.
No report, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The engineer's report, actually, I would just, the office supervisor just explained to me he had a quick family emergency, so he is excused from tonight's meeting. We have a public forum. Anyone in the audience wish to address the board on anything? No one this evening? Thank you. We'll go to the standing committee reports then. Finance Committee, Trustee McLaurin.
First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated March 30th, 2018, totaling $376,405.10. Next, I have a request for approval of accounts payable dated April 2nd, 2018. From the recap, General Fund, $389,780.38. Road and Bridge, $57,496.40. MFT, $1,394.36. 911 bills, $2,812.74. Pulaski Road Corridor TIF, $9,850. Water and Sewer, $230,991.58. Heritage 2, $19,532.99, for a grand total, all funds, $711,858.45. And that's all I have under finance.
Okay. And just to maybe piggyback on that too, regarding, I know we got to get back on board with scheduling some, the Finance Committee to schedule some meetings so we can finalize our budget for this coming next year, I should say, next fiscal year. Mr. Alvin, we're going to have revenue numbers this week for the board to talk about?
Yeah, I'll work on that this week. My family's personally having some medical issues, so I'm a little bit limited this week, but I'm going to be working on that.
Okay, so if we can try and set up something for next week?
Yes.
Okay. So the trustees know she can schedule a meeting?
Yeah, let me know when.
Yes, and the other thing is, while I'm given the microphone for a second. I've put this out. I haven't put it out to the whole board yet, but I have put it out to the Finance Committee Chair and the Mayor. There is financial policies. There's the pensions, if you recall, changed the look of our balance sheet a couple years ago in the FY16. That's coming up, in theory, 2 years, the next fiscal year, so the end of FY19. But it makes sense to do it at the end of FY18 to save us some money on OPEB, the retiree health care. That when we do that, if we don't have a policy for sustainable retiree benefits in place and credible, so passed by the board, a way to fund pensions and OPEB. When the OPEB hits our books in the same way that the pensions do, it will materially make possibly millions of dollars difference to our balance sheet. So I've been frantically working on trying to come up with something for the board, Finance Committee first, but then the board, to discuss in terms of how to fund those over the long haul. It's going to take a few generations, but we're looking over, as we've discussed before, over $100 million of present value of unfunded liabilities, and anything we can do to try to shave that down, we're going to do. That's what started to put a little bit of pressure on the budget. The budget, I've said I wanted to get done, I've said all along, in time for the beginning of the fiscal year. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It's traditionally in this village passed in the last meeting in July. I'm trying to beat that. I really am. I'd like to get it as soon as possible, but this is something that will materially be millions of dollars potentially on our balance sheet within a year, and that's just as important. So I'm trying to balance both of those at the same time. I will be working. I've communicated that to the Finance Committee Chair and to the Mayor. I'm got to work with them more to set that up as well. So the Finance Committee is not just for budget. We are going to need extra ones to talk about this. I've just talked to the actuary, and that is not necessarily needed by April 30th, but it is before the end of their actuarial reports, especially the OPEB report, which is going to be considerably more work than it was in the prior years due to the changing standards. So more to come on that, but that is what we've been working on. The other part is the temp that was authorized by the board did not work out. I let that temp go a few weeks ago. She wasn't showing up, and the work that she did had errors in it. So I'm trying to balance that without that person. I don't have the time to train someone new right now. So
So have Karen train them.
Karen's also pretty busy right now. So we'll work on this.
Well, especially with the end of the fiscal year coming up, though, you've got account recs and things to get ready. I would get the person
We
in.
will definitely get someone in before the audit comes in. I'm trying to the stuff they put out in the budget had errors in it. So I'll work with you more directly and interact with you on how to balance all of this. But I just wanted to say what it is that we're still way ahead of schedule in terms of the budget. Not as much as I want it to be, but still months before where we've ever been.
Don't say ever.
Well, to my knowledge, we've never not passed it before the end of July. You might have knowledge before
yes.
that. Okay. But
Personal knowledge that it used to be done in April.
Okay. Well, we're working on it.
Also, I always like that we have a lot of students in the room. I always like to point out to everybody what Kent was talking about, our finance director. He's got a lot of work. When he says OPEB, it's OPEB. That means other post-employment benefits. So what he's really working on here is a lot of retirement benefits that change pretty often. And that number, between insurances, and then it goes from the retirement benefits into a pension program, which is a different scenario, but that's what he's really concentrating on, our retirement benefits and so forth. So thank you. Moving along then too, we'll go to the Fire Committee, Trustee McLaurin.
No report.
Okay. One thing I wanted to real quick point out, because again, we didn't get a chance to have a committee meeting last week, Is everybody comfortable with what the chief sent us on the hiring schedule? Or do you want to talk about this next week? Because I hate to keep pushing this back because he's put this out to us. Do you want to talk about it next week?
I
or
prefer to talk about it next week at committee.
You are? Okay, that's fine. Okay, just want to make sure we put it out there. Just we're not skipping anything here. That's all, Chief. So, all right, thank you. The police report then, Trustee McGrail.
I have for discussion a request for approval of a resolution of the Village of Alsip authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Oak Lawn for the housing of arrestees. Since there was no committee meeting last week, the chief asked that we put this on tonight and talk about it and see if we can decide if we want to vote on that tonight because it's timely. So, Chief Miller, would you update us further?
Sure. Everyone's been getting updated as part of this 911 dispatch consolidation. We've also included the lockup information that we've been working on with Oak Lawn. Aside from some of the benefits of Oak Lawn dispatch, this was another significant benefit that was offered to us and to the village. In a nutshell, we will process the prisoners, we'll transport and house them at Oak Lawn's facility. They will monitor and feed the prisoners. We're going to pay $100 per prisoner per day, and then we'll transport that person to court. Some of the significant benefits are obviously a cost savings to the village, and it'll reduce liability on the village and the police department. We're not locked into this deal long term, but it's certainly worth experimenting at this time. With the financial constraints and everything in the village, this is the way to go, and it's kind of going to alleviate another headache for us once we do the changeover.
Okay.
Well, it covers overnight monitoring as well when we don't have anybody here.
Right.
I mean, that's a big thing.
Well, the big thing is legally, you can't abandon the building
Right.
if you have a prisoner.
Well, in some sense, so overnight when we can just leave the prisoner here. So
Right.
I mean, that's huge right there.
Is there any questions or anything?
And again, so a lot of you folks understand, just quickly, state mandated that you needed 25,000 residents to keep your 911 dispatch. We only had 20,000 residents, which meant we had to consolidate with another town. We're doing that with Oak Lawn, and what the chief has done is he's negotiated terms at $100 per prisoner for them to oversee our prisoners at night because we won't have any staff here at night. So that's what this agreement pertains to and so forth then too. So it's obviously, Chief, it's we talked to when we had our staff meeting the other day, both chiefs. Are we going to be compelled in the case of any emergency services to service our own prisoner, or are they going to take responsibility for that?
Oak Lawn Fire Department will transport, and it'll be our responsibility to sit on the prisoner once they're at the hospital.
Okay, so we'll intercept at the hospital, but they'll transport.
Correct.
Okay. To take responsibility for our prisoner.
Right.
Gotcha. All right, thank you. The building report, Trustee Zelinski.
Public Works.
You skip Public Works.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Public Works, Trustee Juarez. Committee?
I'll give a report for Trustee Juarez. I have information on Arbor Day. I'm going to read this into the record. Arbor Day Foundation names Alsip Tree City USA. Alsip, Illinois was named a 2017 Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation in honor of its commitments to effective urban forest management. Alsip received Tree City USA recognition by meeting the program's 4 requirements: a tree board or department, a tree care ordinance, an annual community forestry budget of at least $2 per capita, and an Arbor Day observance and proclamation. Tree City USA communities see the impact an urban forest has in a community firsthand, said Dan Lambie, is that correct, Mike? President of the Arbor Day Foundation. Additionally, recognition brings residents together and creates a sense of community pride, whether it's through volunteer engagement or public education. Trees provide multiple benefits to a community when properly planted and maintained. They help to improve the visual appeal of a neighborhood, increase property values, reduce home cooling costs, remove air pollutants, and provide wildlife habitat, among many other benefits. And more information on the program is available at arborday.org/Tree City USA. That's all. And boat launch opened,
launch is open.
opened yesterday, April 1st. Everything, any further?
Waiting to get some cleanup done out there from when there was the the contractor and told them that it needs to be out ASAP. I know MWRD has been in contact with them as well, so we're pushing to get that out of there before the
That's fine, Mike. You saw my exchange back and forth with MWRD. That's non-hazardous materials, but we need to get out of there anyway. Also, I did, last Monday, I went down and I met the crew that's parking their barge there because they're still working on the bridge. And our pier is still kind of tore up down there. When are they going to fix that?
2 weeks ago, I submitted them a list of the repairs that we identified that needed to be done.
Right.
Along with the information on the materials of the docks so that they can order whatever may be needed. But again, they're still working on the bridge. They said that they would start this week to make repairs, so I'll keep on them to ensure that they do.
We're hoping it doesn't turn into a nightmare like Cicero Avenue did, but Chief Miller, with those signage that we just got, when are they supposed to kick that off with that repairing the bridge on 127th Street?
I'm not sure about the timetable for the repairs, but they're going to start rerouting truck traffic within the next 3 or 4 weeks.
That's it. So you're going to see more trucks being detoured around 127th Street for weight restrictions to start with, because they got to fix that next bridge on 127th Street coming up, and you'll start seeing signage for all that. So if it looks awkward having all the trucks rolling down Route 83 to Cicero, that's why they're routing them around until they can work on that bridge on 127th Street. And again, Mr. Hardy's in the house tonight. Jim, thanks for working the boat launch again this year. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's about the loneliest job there is working out the boat launch and stuff. But we appreciate your service, sir. Really, Jim. That's a tough job. You got Vic Volpe helping you this year.
Mm-hmm.
Vic.
Yes, Vic is with us again this year.
Okay.
We'll be starting Thursday, actually. Boat launch did open on the 1st, yesterday, in deference to Dean April Fool's Day, too. But it did open due to the ordinance that is left open.
Okay.
So the gates are open for the boaters. I'm not sure there's been any boaters yet, but there's an honor box out there that they can use. And we are starting on Thursday. Our hours have been adjusted this year, by the way, so that we're working Thursday through Sunday versus Tuesday through Sunday. So we are not working Tuesday or Wednesday this year.
We're going to work on some signage and so forth. My assistant Becky is working with a group known as Lincoln Leverage, and we've actually advertised on our village website and our village Facebook page that April 28th we're going to have a recycling day at the boat launch. We're probably going to utilize your east parking lot, Jim, to do that. And we're going to have a lot of help out there and so forth, but we're going to actually do some e-waste recycling and so forth. There's medical, you can actually drop off prescription drugs and so forth there, so it's going to be an all-out recycling day that we're going to have on the 28th. They'll be out there for that. Also, I'll bring something up under communications, but yeah, Jim, we'll be at the boat launch that day, April 28th. Okay?
Thank you.
You too. Next, moving on, Building Committee, Trustee Zelinski.
And no report tonight, Mayor.
All right, thanks. The Water and Sewer Committee, Trustee Dalzell.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. License Committee, who's that? Trustee McLaughlin?
I have a request for approval of a list of licenses dated March 13th through the 28th of 2018. And that's all I have.
Thank you. The Economic Development Committee,
No report tonight.
no
Mayor.
report. The Planning and Zoning Committee,
We have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip to rezone the property located at 12221 South Cicero Avenue, Unit 6, from B1 Business District to B3 Business District. That's all I have tonight.
Trustee, I got to ask, at our last meeting on the 19th, we had the same thing on, and we did approve that 4-2.
It was, we approved the writing of the ordinance.
Yes.
So now we're going to pass it.
I see.
This is the actual
Okay.
ordinance.
All right, so this is the actual ordinance. Thank you. I didn't see I was missing that word on there. Okay. Special committee reports. The Village Property, Trustee McLaurin.
No report.
The Insurance Committee, Trustee McGrill.
Just that we're going to have an insurance committee meeting next Monday, April 9th, at 6 p.m., and I'll send the meeting notice to the clerk's office.
Perfect, thank you.
That's all.
You said 6 p.m.?
Yes.
Ordinance Legislation Committee?
No report tonight.
You know what, while we're on that, if I can ask a question to the attorney. A little while ago, we had posed a proposed ordinance for the adoption of the IVC, and was voted on and not passed. How can we bring this back up for reconsideration?
You can bring it up anytime you want. You ask to put it on the agenda, you bring it back to committee, ask to have it placed on the agenda.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So we'll discuss it. Where I work, there's a lot of interest in this, and there's a lot of municipalities that are doing it. So I think that there was some confusion on it. I'd like to have it just for some discussion, because I think it's important that we go ahead and we move forward with this. So,
No, I would agree with you, trustee. I mean, they're not getting prosecuted right now by the state's attorney's office. The only way they will get prosecuted is if we make it an ordinance violation and fine them. We're typically doing that as $200 in our other municipalities, and being that they are an ordinance, you're getting more money from that than you would a typical IVC violation because you're writing it under your ordinance. So, but
all right, thanks.
I appreciate that too, trustee, because we looked at that real well, and I do believe it's a benefit. IT, trustee Dalzell.
No report.
Human Resources, trustee McGrail.
No report.
Health and Pollution Committee.
Presentation and approval of the March 2018 activity report. That's all they got.
All right. The Traffic Safety Committee, trustee Dalzell.
There's no report, but I'm glad to see that the construction finally removed the barriers off of 123rd Street, considering they haven't done anything for a week.
All right. Thank you.
Question under traffic safety. Trustee Dalzell, should we, I'm not sure if it belongs under traffic safety or under police, discussion in terms of a recommendation for the red light camera provider?
You know what, I'm not sure. I mean, it's obviously, it's traffic safety, and that's the premise behind the whole thing. I'd love to set that up for, I mean, we've had the presentations. Are we going to have anything further? So we had one vendor left. Are they still of the no contact with you?
Correct.
Okay, so
We're done.
we've had several people make the presentations, and
Well, I didn't know if maybe the committee should get together and make a recommendation to the rest of the board.
all right, we got a
We'll do
committee
it.
meeting coming up, so we'll address it then.
Do that next week.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any presentations, petitions, or communications? One I wanted to bring up, and we're working on this in my office right now. Initially, we were shooting for Earth Day, April 21st. However, the Little League grabbed that day. But we are going to try and put together a village cleanup day, May 12th. Is that the right date, Becky? We had May 12th. We're going to put out the word to the schools, some special interest groups, and certainly the trustees, our residents, on both our websites and Facebook pages. We'd like to ask everybody if they can spend a little time between 9 and noon, on 9 a.m. and noon on Saturday, May 12th, to help us do some simple cleanup along some of our streets, and maybe along, I don't know, maybe some guardrails and so forth. Public Works, you said, Mike, you got plenty of vests available and so forth there too? High visibility type of thing? So, I know we used to do that years ago, and I think we got away from it a little bit. When's the last time you can recall we did that? Is that what it was?
6 or 7.
I know I was in there. I mean, I was with the Cub Scouts or whatever and stuff like that. It was a good deal. So I think it's something we should reinstitute sometimes. And right now, I mean, we've done, our building department's done a good job of trying to police businesses on this. But again, everyone's seen how strong the winds have been lately, and it stirs everything up. And really, it's hard for everybody to take responsibility for their neighbor's garbage. We will spend a day, or a morning anyway, take this responsibility for our community and see what we can do to help clean it up, that's all. So if you can volunteer, folks, we'd appreciate your help. And we're going to post this on our Facebook page, website, And maybe we can take out a small ad and somewhere, maybe in the local paper or something like that yet too, okay? But I think it's really good to get the community involved in something like that once a year. All right, moving along then. Would anyone like to remove any items from the consent agenda? None? Okay.
Make a motion to establish the consent agenda?
Second.
Roll call number 1 to establish the consent agenda. Trustee McGreal?
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Pierce is absent. Trustee Zelinski?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Motion carries to establish.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Second.
Roll call number 2 to approve filling in the information. Letter E is approval of a list of payroll dated March 30th, 2018, totaling $376,405.10. Letter F is approval of a list of accounts payable dated April 2nd, 2018, totaling $711,858.45. Letter G will now be known as Resolution 2018-04-R-1, and letter I will now be known as Ordinance Number 2018-4-1. Again, roll call number 2 to approve. Trustee McGreal.
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce is absent. Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez is absent. Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve.
Very good, thank you. Any unfinished business, trustees? Any new business? All right, then, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to
Do
adjourn.
we want to adjourn, or you mentioned executive session
No,
earlier?
actually, Attorney Mike Kankar wanted to address the fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, no, we don't have a closed session then.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Trustee McGreal, that was your motion?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, folks, for joining us this evening.
Meeting adjourned at 8:03.
8:03. Thank you.